Alright guys, welcome back. So let's talk about basic UI stuff. At least I want to see like the two bars, the mana bar and the health bar on the bottom part of the window here, right? So let me go to the C++ class. I'm gonna go ahead and create a user widget class, user widget. Okay, and then this is gonna be called the value monitor. So this is going to be used for both the health bar and the mana bar. I just wanted to have some low level access to this. So this is more like an interface class basically. So I'm going to go ahead and create that class. So I don't think I need anything more than having some basic function calls I can just call and directly talk with Blueprint. I could move a lot of things here in C++, but UI stuff, I guess, is not really that strictly has to be in C++. But you just want to conceptually have some interfaces, like, you know, if you want to change the value, what function can you call from C++, basically. So I'm going to do that, public U function, Blueprint implementable event. So Blueprint will take care of that. Okay. So I'm going to say void value updated. So for the value, I need to know three things about the value, which is current value, new value, or maybe, yeah, max value, and then I guess I can also just show the old value. Will not be a bad thing if it's need to do that somehow, maybe showing how much things you have reduced or what kind of thing. Yeah, that's definitely a useful argument in there. Okay, and so far that's all I need. Okay, so that's gonna be the the value monitor class. Of course, I need to set up another class, a user widget class for the main UI, which kind of like composes with those various smaller widgets. So user widget, and this one will be the in-game UI. This is going to be the UI that's used with basically what's happening in the whole gameplay, like the whole thing, including the bars in the bottom, maybe like the inventory or other things. So the whole UI is composed into this main in-game UI, and we'll create multiple different widgets for timekeeping, for, you know, for maybe a shop, right? Inventory, status bar, kind of all those things. Minimap, right? Those kind of things. They are all gonna be in there, which will actually, I think we'll cover minimap. It's a pretty cool concept. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and try to look at that new class. Okay, this is gonna be our in-game UI. For in-game UI, we also want it to be conceptually done, so this is more like a low-level access interface. So should be probably just a bunch of functions in this case. So U property, not U property, U function, Blueprint implementable event. So for the UI, for the mobile game UI, we'll need to set up basically, I guess, two things. One for now, right? One is void health updated, okay, and float new value old max value, and float a old value. Okay, and then another U function, Blueprint implementable event, void mana updated. Some game doesn't have some heroes or campaigns champions in the mobile game world may not have mana, like especially in League of Legends. Some champion doesn't have mana, so we probably need to think about how we can abstract that away into something else. I don't know, but in this, for now, let's just not go too overboard. Problem is, you don't want it to over engineer your stuff to predict the future. You can't predict the future. You can only predict the field, but I think that's one of the issues with this object-oriented programming paradigm. Like, you are forced to think about what could be happening in the future. You're designing like an interface to deal with that. However, you just don't know, right? So let's go for simple. We can refactor it later on, but yeah, let's just assume that all the heroes or champions will only have two things: the health and mana. Okay, max value and float old value. Okay, that's gonna be the two things. We can also be more specific and say this is blueprint version of that. Okay, and then we can kind of like do a meta, because display name cannot type sometimes equals to you'll be amazed, like when you're talking and trying to type, it's way harder than just typing it yourself. Okay, so basically we're giving it a name so that it looks like it's called on health updated in the blueprint or in the editor. In C++, it's called BP there. In the old code, they call this K2, K for Kismet. Blueprint is actually something called Kismet in the Unreal Engine 3, but now it's called Blueprint. K2 means Kismet version 2. Basically, BP, Blueprint, is Kismet version 2. A little bit of a history here. Anyway, so now we have those two things. Should be able to call those now, and that was going to be talking with whatever inside of it. Yeah. I don't know if this should be, how abstract do we want it to be? Yeah, let's see. We could have it in here, and then so now internally we have to do that in Blueprint and Blueprint, so we don't have to call those value monitors in here then. Yeah, but that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. Okay, so in the player controller class, that's where we need to define it. So that's going to be a new view property. I'm going to go duplicate that and change this guy to UI. And then this is going to be T subclass of class in InGame UI. I believe that's how it's called. Let me go ahead and take a look. Yeah, InGame UI. UI class. InGame UI class. Of course, if you really think about like the so in League of Legends you have like a launcher right in there. You have a different UI kind of thing, and then you launch the game with the already set up things. That's League of Legends. For Dota, you just have the whole thing as a one program. I guess there is some differentiation there. We don't know. Like, this is something we cannot really do everything here, just because that's just not a one-man job, at least in a tutorial fashion, right? It's just really difficult to have the UI in the lobby and everything there. We're gonna just talk about the essential in-game plays. Okay, all right. So in-game UI class, right? Okay. This is gonna be added default only, I believe. Blueprint read write should be it. Okay. All right, and then we're gonna create that by using a function, of course. I'm going to call this guy void create UI. Okay. Now this is going to be something that needs to be called in a special place, because this is again has to be something happens locally. The server is kind of like a non-visual machine. So you don't do that on the server at all. You just do that locally, and that should be done then somewhere that we acknowledge possession here. This is the one, if you go take a look at the actual implementation on the base class, right? This is the server version, right? If you look at that, there is a somewhere down the way. Maybe we can keep on searching. Yeah. Acknowledge position. This one should be called on the client. We're overriding, so I guess where does it go? I believe it's the one that will be called on the client. Yeah, local player at least, right? So server acknowledge position, and then here. So it's telling the server after it does it here, I guess. So this is basically the one we do locally. And that's the perfect place we can call it. So here, after we have the POM possessed, we can say create in-game UI. Okay. Right. Now here we just do the creation of the in-game UI. So I'm going to check, of course, if we have that in-game UI class. If we do have that, then we just create the widget. Okay. This has to be having a header here. Blueprint user widget. That's interesting. Okay. And then owner will be me. That's the player controller. Class, right, will be basically our in-game UI class. Static class. Actually, I think that's it. Why is it not happy about that? Oh, it doesn't know what's the in-game UI, so we're gonna include that. In-game UI header file. Otherwise, it doesn't know it's actually part of the family tree of the user widget. So we create a widget, and then we can say, let's hold a reference of that. New property. Class in in-game UI. Have that here already. Just copy that. Game UI, in-game UI. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm gonna copy that, and then we can say in-game UI will be equals to that. Create widget. Yeah, we have a game UI class. Yeah. So we have the UI, right? And then we just add it to viewport. Oh. The order, guess we will have only one anyways. So this will add it to the viewport. Okay. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and compile this. And we need to create a blueprint version of these guys, so probably better to start setting up a folder for that. UIs, I guess. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and create a new user widget blueprint. It's actually not visible there. So, well, I guess it's not even. user interface with the blueprint. Okay, I'm gonna call this guy WPP in game. Okay, and then another one, WPP value monitor. Okay, so basically in the in-game one, that's the primary one, right? We will have some value monitor in there. And of course, right, this will be inheriting. If you go to the class settings, we're going to change that to in-game UI. For the value monitor, of course, it'll be inheriting from value monitor here. Okay. Alrighty. So we're going to implement, of course, the basic health bar here, and that should be just in desired size. And we just have like a progress bar for now. That should be enough. Grab that. I'm gonna put it in the center. Okay, and then percentage. Yeah, that's fun. Size X. I think we can make it 128. Oh, that's too small. 56. Size Y 16. Yeah, it looks like a cool looking health bar. I'm using kind of like this binary system because that's what that's basically very common in screen resolutions. So call this guy bar. Okay. All right. And also we need to have some text to show us like what do we have in there value wise. So I'm gonna change the font to be smaller, 12 I guess. Yeah, put it in the center again. I don't know why it doesn't like that. Oh, yeah, actually we need to change the layout to be in the center. Okay. And I guess 100 by 100 for now. It's the default settings. Size to content. Yeah, that's good. I guess we change it to 6 even. Okay. All right. So that's the basic value there. So basically here now in the functions we can override this value updated. Right, you don't really see that, so let me drag it up. In the function overrides value updated, right? So new value, max value, and old value, that's the ones we're going to use to set up the bar. I'm going to drag the bar out and then set percent. Right, the percent will be the new value divided by max value. That's going to be the percent. And also the text value here, which we'll have to make it work by changing that to be is variable. Okay, let's rename that guy though. Value text. Okay, so the value text, it will be set text. Okay, and that will be to text from string, I guess. Yeah, and then we're gonna compose two strings. So append two strings here, and then that's gonna convert the new value to the first input. I want to see integers, so to int, I believe it's called truncate. Yeah, that would be good. So I'm gonna truncate those values, new value, max value, and we're gonna connect that. We add a new pin here and connect that, and we have this divide in here. Okay, all right. So that's how this will work. This is all done in Blueprint again. Like you want to find places to do C++ work and find other places that's probably better done in Blueprint. This is pretty fast, right? I think this is easier sometimes to me, like especially in the designer point of view, because the C++ programmers can't do everything, right? They're too busy implementing basic features. Those should be done in the level designer or somewhere else. And that's how they interface with each other, right? So I'm compile and save that. Blueprint has its definite usage. Okay, so I'm gonna close that. And this guy here, I'm gonna add a, of course, the user defined here, and then WBP value monitor. Add 2 of them. Okay, call this guy house bar, and this guy mana bar. Okay, and then they'll all be anchored to the bottom. To the bottom. Holding down Control Shift and click on that. Yeah, and I'm gonna shift the house bar maybe up a bit by going for the Y direction. That should be enough for us. Okay, and here in this one, we're gonna go to the functions. We're gonna override again on house updated, and we just get the house bar, and then say value we cannot, it's not callable, isn't it? Let's go back and take a look. Event on value updated. This event cannot be called, I guess. We can only add it, right? Like that, we cannot really call it, so we need to change it to be callable here. Sorry about that. So this is gonna be blueprint callable also. Let's see if that works. Yeah. UI work always takes quite long, actually. This is 20 minutes already. But again, we want to get C++ access, so that's why we're doing quite a few more things, I guess. Value updated, right? We can call that now and pass those guys over. New value, max value, old value. Okay. Mana updated. Huh? Doesn't have that. Let me. We only have our house updated. Let me check. Oh yeah, it's display name the same. Mana updated. Okay, let's save that. Compile it. Now I have this on mana updated. Okay, we just get at mana bar and then call value updated here. So this, whenever we call that main function to update the mana and house, those should be transferred over to here, right? To our blueprint version of the value updated, and then that will update both the percent and the text. I guess this is one more thing we can do to make the house bar looks better. We're gonna create a custom event, set color. Again, this is gonna be, you know, better done just in the designer part, because the color, I don't really care about that when I'm doing C++ programming. That's not essential game mechanic, right? That has to be done, better to be done in Blueprint. So it's taking a color. Okay, color. And then color, right? And that will be setting the bar's color, right? That will be it. So we can call the set color. Huh, it's a linear color. Let me change that. Alrighty, cool. So now for the in-game, we can say, okay, well, in the construct, we're gonna say, hey, house bar, your color will be green. I believe that should be good enough. Yeah, hit OK. Alrighty, now finally, windows are all set up. We can now go to our player controller here, right, and set the InGame UI class to be, oh, doesn't have that for some reason. Yeah, this happens. So we have to close this guy, and then back here to the to Writer or Visual Studio, if that's in your case, just rerun it again, and that will update I think the list of the blueprints. Unfortunately, that has to be done by restarting the editor. I don't know why, but yeah, now you can see the WPP in game. Save that and then play the game. Right, now we have the UI in there, and as you can see the color is changed. We don't have any real health value to update that yet, and that's too small also, right? So yeah, do some tweak to the size, I guess, and then yeah, I think this is getting too long, so you go do that yourself, and the next video we can talk about how we can actually get some value updated. Okay, see you guys next time.